Hello, everybody. Welcome to Neox Tarot. My name is Lady Neox, your favorite Cappy Aqua. Yep, I'm a Cappy Aqua. I'm doing a daily reading for Monday, May 13th, 2019. And I've went ahead and pulled out 4 cards. The first card is going to be the overall energy. It's a little sample of the energy you're going to be facing today. The second card are the positive energies as related to the overall energy. These are going to be energies that you want to embrace, embody, or encourage. The third card is negative energies as related to the overall energy. And these are going to be energies that you want to avoid, discourage, or extinguish altogether. And the fourth card is going to be your advice card. After pulling out these energies, I want to give you some advice as to what to do with these energies, okay? Now, before I get into the actual reading, I wanted to take some time and talk to you guys about mass, group, or collective readings and kind of how they work. Introducing you to the Matrix 101. So basically, a lot of times when people are doing collective readings or group readings, you're asking yourself, how can this reading, how is it relevant to everybody? There's a lot of people who are going to be watching. Is it just one person or not? Now, even though we all like to think that we are special, we're so special, and we're the only ones going through the things that we are going through, the truth is there's a group of people encountering the very same energies that you are encountering. It just plays out a little differently and the details are a little different. But overall, there are a group of people going through the same thing that you're going through. You're never alone. You're never going through things alone, things by yourself. There are a group of people experiencing the same thing that you are also experiencing. So when we pull out these cards and we say we're doing collective or group readings, we're basically tapping into one group, sometimes 2 groups. Today I was picking up maybe 3 different groups of people. Okay, so take it how you take it. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So the overall energy pull today would be the 8 of Stones, commonly known as the 8 of Pentacles. It's the same as the 8 of Pentacles in traditional tarot. And this card is really all about work or putting in the work. Work. So it's all about putting in the work. But in this deck, they're more so talking about you working actually on your skills. In this card, you can see a man busy working on his skills. He's actually already working on his skills, working on his talents, working on what he's good at doing. And you can already see he's already created some products. And he's even using some of his products to light up the cave where he's working in. You can also see like a handprint in that cave, meaning there's a divine touch or there's a divine presence, like your God-given assignment or your God-given task. Okay, and that's the overall energy today. That's the card that I pulled. Now, the positive card of the day will be the Guardian, which is equivalent to the Devil card in traditional tarot. Now, the Devil card is all about toxic entanglements. All about toxic entanglements. But in this deck, the Guardian card is all about facing your fears. It's about facing your shadow self. In this card, you can see a scary skeleton standing in front of the cave. Standing in front of a cave. Now, if you want to get in that cave, if you want to continue your journey into that cave, you're going to have to face your fears. You're going to have to face that skeleton and battle that skeleton in order to get into that cave. So it's about facing your fears. It's about facing your skeletons, facing your shadow side, okay? The third card for today, which is the negative card of the day, will be the 4 of Cups. 4 of Vessels, traditionally known as the 4. It's the equivalent of the 4 of Cups. And the 4 of Cups is all about a lack of motivation, You can see that it's titled boredom. It's all about a lack of motivation or not being satisfied or content with what you have. As you can see, there's a woman sitting there. Her jugs are full of water, but she's just bored to death. She's just sitting there. She's staring out into space. She's staring out into space and not even looking at what she's doing. You can see water spilling all over the place, right? So that is the negative card of today. And the advice card for today would be, it is the Page of Arrows. The Page of Arrows is the same as the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Arrows is all about, it actually encourages you to keep pushing. Just keep moving forward. It also encourages you to find a brand new page. Pages are like, when you're kind of starting out, it's encouraging you to find new ways of communication and of expressing yourself. It's all about determination. You're starting out brand new. Okay? It's all about starting out brand new or studying or staying focused. It's also a card of reinventing yourself or taking a new approach to an old task. Right? So it's time for a brand new page. As I said, I was picking up 3 different groups of people with these cards that these cards are going to relate to. And in the first group, I see people who might be just bored of the job that they're doing. They've been doing it for a while. They're good at it, but they're pretty much bored. They are bored to death of what they're doing. They're bored to death of a project. They're bored to death of a task that they're doing. They might have found joy in it at one point, but right now you've acquired all the knowledge, all the skills that you need, and you are just bored. There's 2 ways that you could go about this. Some people need to end what they're doing. Maybe it's time to move on, look for a different job, start a brand new page, start a brand new adventure, and look for a different job instead of sitting in a job that you don't care about, or a job that's really boring that you really don't want to do, or a task or a project that you're working on. Instead of remaining in that same project, it's time to move on or find something different. And for others of you, even though you found boredom even though you're feeling bored at this new job, at this job that you're working at, it's time to find a new way to approach the job. It's time to kind of reinvent the job. It's time to find a new approach. It's time to find a different way about going. It's time to find a different way of going about your daily tasks or going about your project. You kind of have to make it different. Even though you're doing the same task, there's a need to find some excitement or put the zing back into what you are doing, okay? So some of you, it's time to move on and start a brand new page. And for others of you, it's time to change the way you're doing things. Change it up a little bit. Bring some excitement to what you're doing. Now, the second group of people that I'm picking up are people who have God-given talents that they kind of want to let out. They want to let loose. They have God-given talents that they kind of want to work on. And they want these God-given talents to work for them. As you can see in the 8 of Stones, the overall energy, that's where you desire to be. You desire to be in your cave, working on your God-given talents, working on that divine assignment, working on, where the Lord is leading you or where Spirit is guiding you to go. And that is your goal, and that is your dream. And you're trying to find a way for that to provide for you. You're trying to find a way for that to feed you. You're trying to find a way for that. It's like, I'm kind of getting the sense of like that scripture that says that your gifts will make room for you. Your gifts will make room for you. So I see that at the forefront. So I see the overall energy as more so a mental focus, something that is in your head, like a goal, or that's what's on your mind. How can I make this happen? Now, the energies that are working for you in this situation is to face your fears. The positive energy, which is the Guardian card, which is a positive energy. You see that man in the overall energy in that cave. You're trying to get into that cave and make a home in that cave. But with the positive energy, there's a skeleton. You're going to have to face your fears. You're going to have to face your shadow self. You're going to have to face your doubts. You're going to have to face the things that are holding you back. And you're going to have to get into that cave. So the positive energy, will be facing that fear. The positive energy is go ahead, go for what you're looking for. Now, the negative energy on the other side, which is boredom, the four of vessels, you can see the lady over here. And again, we're standing right in front of a cave. But what she has done in the negative card, she has put a stone. Do you see that stone? She's put a stone in front of that cave. So guess what? Skeletons ain't coming out. Skeletons ain't going anywhere. And she's established herself right there. Instead of going into the cave, going where God has assigned her to go into, she's like, I don't want to face these skeletons at all. She's put a rock. She's established herself. But you can see she's still not content. Even though her jugs are full, she's definitely not content because she's not on her God-given path. She's not on the right path. And the advice will be, you have to approach things like a kid again. You have to kind of be focused, be determined with the page of arrows over there and approach things brand new again. Even though it may be scary to face this, which is the positive energy of the guardian, you have to approach it with a new curiosity. You have to approach it. With determination. You have to go on this new page. Do not stay the little bird that you are. You see how this is a baby bird, but the baby bird has basically come out of its nest and it's ready to go into the world. Even though it is snow, you see it staring into space, ready to fly off because it's determined to go out there and explore what's out there. It's determined to go into the world and see what it can make of itself. It wants to fly around the world. So take that journey into that cage. Face your fears, face your doubts, face your shadow self, and do not put a wall. Do not block it. Do not block that cave. You got to get into that cave because in that cave is where you're going to set up the 8 of stones. Is where basically with that hand over there is where God is leading you. Okay. And we have our third group of people that this might resonate with. And our third group of people are people who've been working really, really hard. They've been producing. They've been putting things out there. They've been doing all that they can do. They've been doing all that they can do. But with every project, with everything that they produce, everything they put out there, somebody's not satisfied. Either the people around you are not satisfied, your boss is not satisfied, your lover is not satisfied. Somebody's not satisfied with what you're putting out there. Somebody's not satisfied with what you're putting out there. The advice for this one would be, you got to go ahead and face your fears and face your doubts. You got to look again. The positive energy is looking. You got to look at the situation for what it is. And the truth is, you got to look at the situation for what it is in order to get what you need. You might need a new approach. There's a reason why the woman in this negative card is looking and she's kind of bored at the man and everything that he's producing. There's a reason why. And you got to look at that. You got to look at it. The positive energies, you got to look at it. You got to look at, why is this not working? Why is everything that all this work, everything that I'm putting in, why is it not working? And you might need to might need a fresh approach again. You might need to look at things differently. You might need to look at things in a different way as a child again. There is a scripture in Matthew chapter 18, verse 3-4 that comes to mind. And it says, and he said, truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And this scripture is coming to me because I'm looking at the page of arrows, and the page of arrows is saying a fresh perspective. Start all over again. Start all over again. You got to look at things differently. Look at it from the view of a child. Look at it from a brand new perspective. See, children are more enthusiastic. You know, they're more curious. Everything is more magical to children. So you got to look at things from a brand new page on why whatever you're creating is not satisfying It's not satisfying the people around you. The work that you're creating is not satisfying them. And you got to look at the truth. You got to face your fears on why it's not satisfying. You've been working really hard. And as you can see, you've been making lots of creations, but people are not satisfied with it, or the person around you is not satisfied with it. You got to look at the reasons why. Maybe there's a need for a fresh approach, a fresh way to do things. A fresh way to do things. Okay? Now, there's also a quote. And I don't know who made this quote yet, but I'm still going to read it, by Anonymous. I know there's probably a name to it, but I can't find it right now. But there's a quote, and it says, if we experience life through the eyes of a child, everything will be magical and extraordinary. Let our curiosity, adventure, and wonder of life never end. So you got to get that curiosity back. You got to get the wonder. You got to get that zumph back, get the determination back. There's a need for a new perspective on things today, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Bye, everybody.